Alright, I'm in my backyard this evening. I'm going to show you one of the most commonly eaten poisonous mushrooms in Pennsylvania. There's different reasons why it's the most commonly eaten one. One is that it looks very similar to a edible mushroom that's very tasty. It's supposed to be very tasty, called the Parasol Mushroom. And another reason it's so commonly eaten is because of where it grows, usually in people's yards. So let's take a look at this one. Here it is. It's fairly big. This one's fairly big. And I think it got decapitated. I think the neighbor girl came over here and decapitated. There's two big ones here because half an hour ago they were still looking good. I don't know if she came over here and kicked them over, but this is called the green spored Lepiota mushroom. The green spored parasol mushroom it's called sometimes. Let's take another look at it. Yeah, so it has kind of a huge cap to it, little splotches on it and stuff. And there's a kind of a greenish cast to it. A couple years ago, when I first found this mushroom growing in my yard, I got kind of excited because it looked like the parasol mushroom. And I do eat wild mushrooms sometimes, but you have to be 100% sure that the mushroom that you're eating is edible, because if you're only 95% sure, that 5% can kill you. So you gotta be 100% sure. And like I said, it looked almost exactly like that parasol mushroom, it's called, in the field guides. But if you have a good mushroom field guide, when there's an edible mushroom, it'll also tell you about some copycat mushrooms that look like the edible mushroom but are actually poisonous. And I have two field guides, and they both mention this mushroom called the green spored parasol mushroom, or green spored Lepiota. And so, and there's really only one way to really tell, and that's to take a piece of paper. In this case, you can take a white piece of paper, and you can get what's called a spore print, where you cut the cap. Sorry, I'm sitting down here. You can take the cap of the mushroom off and sit it on a white piece of paper, and the spores from the mushroom will land on the paper. Yeah, because a lot of times, sometimes the only way to tell the difference between some mushrooms is by what's called their spore print, is by the color of the spores. Because the edible parasol mushroom has white spores, but this poisonous green spored one obviously has green spores. So like I said, you take the cap off, stick it on a white piece of paper. But if you're trying to find white spores, you want to stick it on like a black piece of paper, because white spores on white paper, you're not going to see anything. But in this case, with the green spore, you can stick it on the green piece of paper. So let's do that. It's already decapitated. So let's rip off the stalk. Oh, they also have that little veil on the stalk. And then you just want to stick the cap on a piece of paper like this. And at least leave it there overnight. And when you come back in the morning, well, you want to do this inside. Take it inside, and then lift the cap off, and you'll be able to see a spore print. You'll be able to see all the spores fell out of the gills. And if it's green, it's the poisonous kind. So it's one way to tell, identify mushrooms. And like I said, this is a poisonous mushroom. It's not. They don't usually kill people. They're not considered deadly for adult humans. Maybe for a younger child, they would be. I've read reports that they've killed the family dog, who would decide to eat them. So depending on your size, they could be deadly, but they mostly give you gastrointestinal discomfort. They might make you wish you were dead for a couple of days, but they usually don't kill you. So that's called the green spored Lepiota, or sometimes the green spored parasol. And it often grows in yards like these fairy rings. Like in this yard, they come up every year here. There's two circles of them, so they are poisonous. Anyway, that's one way to, Yeah, so anyway, it can be cool to learn about mushrooms and even to try to eat wild ones, but you just gotta be 100% sure that what you're doing is safe. And like I said, taking a spore print is one way to find out. And spore prints are also cool just for artistic sometimes, because they make neat little patterns on the paper if you want to try it sometime. All right. All right, so I'm actually going to leave this on overnight, and then we'll finish the video. I'll finish this video tomorrow, and I'll show you what the spore print actually looks like, because they look pretty cool. That way you can actually see the green spores. So I'll end this video tomorrow. Well, for you, it'll be a couple seconds. All right, I'll see you then. All right, it is the following day, and I'm just out here sitting on the porch. So let's take a look at the spore print and see what it looks like down here. Here's the cap. It's been sitting on this piece of paper overnight. Let's lift it off carefully and check it out. There's the spore print. This one got a little wet too, but you can see the print there. And it's green. Cool. Yeah. Alright, so that's, like I said, it tells you the green spores, lets you know that that's the poisonous one. Green spored Lepiota. So that's how you do a spore print. It's pretty cool. Right, I'm headed out to do some exploring, so